I started with Go2 because we have a new sound set, which is of course great. Some very nice Arpeggiator. Yeah, it's strange that I suddenly, last week or week before, I had the same issue, but that was a setting in my audio card. Yeah, that can happen. Yeah, so hello everybody. Thanks for watching again. And we have quite some people who watch afterwards the video because, yeah, they are on a different timetable. But we have a very good feedback on the live streams because, yeah, I tell a lot about the products, little tricks and things, how they work out. So, yes, the good news we had, of course, very interesting last weeks about ratcheting. And currently I can speak it, pronounce it well. And I also see X in the chat room. That's cool. And we had last week the presets, which we explained. And it's cool to have this interaction with you guys. And ratcheting was something Hadley brought it up by email. I said, "Oh, can you talk about how to do ratcheting?" And now I butchered it again on our synthesizer. So we made this Blade2 video, how it could work with Blade2, but also did trigger the idea to add this feature in a future update of BIT. So before I go back to Go2 and this very nice sound set with some nice sounds, pet sounds, I first want to show you what this whole thing. And I see, if I'm not wrong, Mr. X is, I think it's Jason. Yeah, you are live now. So Jason, you checked, of course, last week the live stream in which I did answer your questions about particular presets, and what jumped out were that these all were using this phase distortion inside the BIT to create these presets. So it was a very interesting stream. Ahead of that, we had Blade2 about this ratcheting. And if I looked it up in Dutch, and in Dutch it's translated ratelen. And suddenly I thought, yeah, that's a interesting thing to call it this way. And you see, I'm currently I'm 55 years old. And last 2 weeks I learned what ratcheting is. So there's always something to learn. And of course, I used analog sequencers, but in our time, in the 80s, we used the SQ10, and that one did not have the ratchet rats. Oh boy, it's really a bad thing for me to pronounce. But in that case, with the SQ10, what I did is connect the C channel to the clock, and there I could do some half double speed notes and that kind of triple notes. That was the trick. And yeah, Moog, I never had a Moog and a Moog sequencer, and there was a kind of default thing. And if I'm not wrong, they have 8 steps, and for each step you could add this ratcheting. And of course, it's a very cool feature. Yeah, we should ratcheting. Yeah, that's a good. It's a good one in the chat room to remember this word. So rats is ratelen is the name in Dutch for this. And essentially, we found out that with Blade2 that essentially you have 1 8 note, and then it adds the 1/3 32 notes for making this same thing. Okay, now, so these things which you guys bring to me very often lead into new ideas. And let me show you. And what I show now is only the Arpeggiator page mockup. So it's not the final one. So let me see if I can find. No, that's the wrong. Okay, that's also the wrong one. This one. So this is what we call a mock-up. And this is gonna be the new about this, only nicer in terms of layouts. It's gonna be more precise. But this is what we call a mock-up together with John, we discussed then the features. So I brought this up, this ratcheting, and so we are gonna add it already in Blade2. So that one would be the first synthesizer which from our product line which will have this. Now, let me explain about Blade2. Okay, in the meantime, I also need to check the chat room. So this is the sequencer page. You know, originally Blade had a smaller arpeggiator in the down part. Let me show it to you. This is the wrong one. Excuse me. Here we have the ARP, which is currently inside Blade, you know, down here. So in the new design, it will be the case that this top section will be smaller, more like the height of Go2. And then this part here will be a bigger part for many things, for the XY, but also for the arpeggiator, which means that we can do a few more things with it. So, so we are lining out now currently the features, and you see here, this is what the arpeggiator is going to be. It can combine two ARPs. You have 16 steps, ARP A, ARP B, also 16 steps, so you could make essentially a 32-step sequencer. Then you see there is a play mode, which means that you let it play ARP A or ARP B, or you let it play ARP A and ARP B with a split point in the keyboard, or with stop. And with stop, it means that if you hit the upper note B5, it plays ARP A. If you hit C5, it plays ARP B. But so you can combine two ARPs together, and there are some new features which is going to be inside Blade. It's ARP. The first one is here X and Y, and with X and Y, you can change per step the position of this XY dot. Yeah, you can recall here we have the Blade with the, so I have a close here to view. Now you see here and there's not a dot. So now here's a dot. So this is the XY field, and with the arpeggiator then, for each step you can have a different position. And of course, you need to make this whole row on-off, otherwise you would have constant each time a different position, and maybe in one sequence you don't want to use it. So there's an on-off button where you can control the X and Y position per step. The other thing which is new is then this ratcheting, which is down here, which you can put on-off. Then the case is, my thought was, okay, this ratcheting, if it's constantly active, it's annoying. So it should be on a given moment after one cycle or two cycles. So we added a menu, which is down here, ratcheting, and here you can see 1 on, 3 off cycle, which means it plays first the sequence with ratcheting, and then 3 times without ratcheting. Okay. So here's an extra menu for controlling this ratcheting. So, okay, and let's show you now the next image. Okay, because that one, where is it? Okay, now I'm doing it wrong here. Let me see, zoom out. Let's go to the left. No, left, right. Yeah, here we have it. Zoom in again, and then I have here the modes. So I place this now in the sequencer part, but then you can see that ratcheting, the different modes we have. We have mode off, which means that this ratcheting is ignored. Mode on means that it always plays this ratcheting row. Then you have the next mode is off, and then on cycle, which means the first time it plays without ratcheting, and the second time with ratcheting, and that does it each time again. Or this next mode is on, first ratcheting, and then the second cycle without it. Then you have the next mode will be 2 times playing without ratcheting and 1 cycle ratcheting. 3 times off or 1 on. So 1 on, so first ratcheting, and then twice the cycle without it. So we have different modes how you can add it without that it's going to be annoying. So it has adds a lot of freedom. And the last idea that popped up in my mind was using velocity. So ratcheting velocity threshold dial, that is this one here. So the velocity puts the threshold. And so if you hit a given threshold, then ratcheting kicks in. So these are the features. So let me see if I'm a bit clear in the chat room. Yeah, I have been practicing. Yeah, but I still butcher words. It's for some reason, ratcheting is a difficult word for me. There are some more words which are difficult for me to pronounce, but who cares, you know? Yeah, the speckled toggle mode. Yeah, should show that because that's the special toggle mode is still available here. Time mode normal, time mode special, and time mode that it combines. That's also something which is, for instance, in how we call that in Go2. I think I can show it. So people might think, okay, this velocity, does it have influence also on the other part of the sound? Well, the secret is inside this dial here. You see velocity key, which I can explain also with Go2 how that works. If this dial is fully to the left, that's to all our products we have this feature, then the velocity setting, which is on each step, is dominant. That one determines how velocity is arranged in your sound. So each velocity setting, each step has its own velocity setting, and that goes to the engine. And if you go with this dial fully to the right, then the keyboard input controls the velocity. So if you have velocity with ratcheting, it's wise to keep this velocity to the fully to the left, because that the velocity per step is working. So its velocity ratcheting has nothing to do with velocity here, but that's really the keyboard controlling it. But I think that's a bit clear. Okay, so people get it. So when I go back here to Cubase and go to you don't worry, Sweden can't say it either. Yes, I guess it is. Is there a way to constrain notes to a specific key scale while using this ARP? And you mean this question from Rod Bergheiser inside the chat room, is this about Blade2 or Go2? Because Go2 has on each step a chord as the option. Yeah, key scaling, that's a good one. So if you have a sequence, monophonic sequence, I think I get your question, and you have a certain melody, it's always major, minor 7, and yeah, that's it. So that's a thing which is essentially, with this sequence, it's not possible. I think there's no sequencer which has that activated, that you have a sequence inside here in the free row, in the tune row, and then if you would play a chord, that it plays this tune into chords. I think that's an impossible thing. So it's always very traditional. Yeah, you have one melody repeating this typical sequence sound. A scale Midi device. It's Ableton. Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure if that is possible with this, because if you put in a melody here, So if I would go back to Go2, it's a good question. Let me see. Go back to Go2. You see here, Go2, we have the sequencer down here. Key entry makes that you can put in the melody. So I go now to a blank preset. So go down. Okay. Default preset here. Oops. Okay, a bit loud. Okay. So here I can put for each, when I hit C, I can have the Arpeggiator on. I can make here a melody. Or I use key entry, and key entry is handy, but you need to take the C as a root. And I can play now, you see a minor, and that is now input in the tune. So I click again, key entry, because okay, let's make it a bit better. Okay, so the point is, this is a minor. So if I play C, it's C minor. When I go to G, it's G minor. I cannot make it dynamically suddenly change to major. That's not possible. That only is possible if you would have what I just told in Blade2, where you have two sequences and you can switch between one playing one and the other using the upper note key, so that you can select the sequence A or sequence B. Then it could be minor and major. So, well, this is due to the nature of how these sequences work. It's pretty traditional, essentially, and we call it an ARP, and essentially it's a sequencer. So here is also a sequencer mode. Now you would say, why do you need an ARP? Yeah, with ARP you can do some weird stuff, because you also could say the sequence in ARPed mode. Then you get very complex things, even with other octaves. But it remains of course you can make some very complex sequences this way. Delay on. Of course, on the Arpeggiator, normally you don't see a tune. That is something I was initially done in the very first virtual synthesizer, because that I thought was a cool idea. So reset tune. Now it's a normal Arpeggiator because the tune is 0. And if you have that then as a sequence, then of course you can change the key. So major, sorry, that was minor, G minor, F major, and then of course if you like to do a lot of changes in key by a kind of sequence, it's handy that you simply so 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, sometimes I need to put that one here. This is a typical thing which I don't always on the top. It's on, and you need to put that off to have it always on the top. Okay. So I'm checking the chat room. So my instrument is back. Yeah, I currently cannot think about how to put that inside or product if the tune is used, because then you need, for some reason, you need something that changes this tuning real time. But of course, I mean, still can use the normal Arpeggiator. And of course, what I talked about is these velocity and key. Well, here is this dial, because we had then the velocity. If you play harder, that the on Blade2 would the ratcheting would kick in. So this velocity is fully to the left, which means that this row here controls the velocity. So I can play loud or soft, it doesn't matter. Each step of the sequencer controls. So I'm changing now the velocity, and you don't hear much of a change because the velocity on the amp section is just minimal. I bring this down, so no velocity on the amp, but I bring it up on the filter, and then you hear the velocity for each step changing. So you hear that. So the velocity needs to be active on one part of the engine. So in this case, it's on the filter, but you also could set it on the volume. Now, this makes that even if I play soft here or hard, doesn't matter, the sequencer determines the whole velocity arrangement. Now, well, with this dial, you can also say, fully to the right, the keyboard does do this. Now I'll play soft, one harder note, one harder again. Hear that? And this is of course for doing these trancey stuff maybe, so that you by playing the keyboard you really add these accent parts. So you put a bit of delay. So let me play with a beat. It's not a trance beat, but then we have a bit of impression. So if I increase here the velocity, of course need to play right. Of course I need to combine it. Well, I put off my microphone so that you don't hear my keyboard play. Can you hear now? The velocity from the keyboard is determined. I adjusted a little bit the filter. Pretty much velocity controls the cutoff. So if I play these notes up here harder, they really jump out. Really, it's very different than if you have this active. So it really depends. So this is a really very cool feature, and you can mix between the two of them. So you also could say, yeah, I want a little bit influenced by the sequencer and a little bit input by the keyboard. So I think that's a very cool feature. It's inside each of our products which have the Arpeggiator or sequencer. I buy this CD. Okay. Oh, I don't mind to be derailed. Oh, that's fun. I mean, it's fun for me, these live streams, and you ask interesting questions and I can answer them. For me, very often things are very normal, but that doesn't mean that it is normal or common for you. So this is this, and yeah, you see, you get a very nice sound and just one saw wave. So even the chorus not active. Nice, isn't it? I could. It's so simple, essentially, this sound. But I still could, if you would like me to save this one and so that you can download it because of this velocity setting. I need to put it, of course, on it. You see it, it's, if you play very soft, it has this punch from the envelope. So this, that's too much, shorter envelope. Yeah, nice, isn't it? So let me save this one. Save preset as keyboard velocity trance, for instance. Okay. Then if you are with Go2, of course, Go2 has some very interesting features. You also could use the velocity for other stuff. Maybe that's an idea to show before I show this preset for Go2, which, by the way, this bank for Go2, which I'm going to show in a few minutes, you can download in the info section. It's the beta version because I checked the volumes but did not check the taggings. So I will put that in the early bird presets folder, which you can find on the homepage or on the section about sounds and presets. So yeah, well, this sound set you can download it already, but there was one thing I like to mention, and special thanks to the sound bank. It's called 20 Sun. Another name I cannot pronounce. Sanguina project. Yeah. Heinrich made again some brilliant stuff. For Go2, he made already some presets for, if I'm not wrong, it was BIT. And he also created some brilliant stuff for Go2. So we're going to play them. Sanguina. Okay. I'm better on sounds than pronouncing stuff. But that is the bank. So I only need to check them on tagging, and then we have not yet, we'll bring out a new version of Go2. It's everything, it's pretty stable. If we have bugs, we always do some, somebody reported a bug, a minor bug, I believe, with the envelopes. So we need to check, but yeah, currently we are busy with all kind of things. We also will have a Go2 with a 200% size version. But these presets will already be available for you. So you from this download section and a bit later on the homepage. So okay. Well, it doesn't have to change the name because I will butcher so many things. Yeah, he's there in the chat room. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, guys, say hello. He is in the Sanguina project is in the chat room. That's lovely. So we go very soon to his sound bank. But let me first play again and do something special again because you guys derail me, which is good. So let me do something special with this velocity. That could be interesting. Velocity. I'll pick it here, velocity, and throw this. Let me see. Now, okay. Velocity on the... No, high pass filter we could do, but I'm thinking about something else. We put, no, velocity we have, no, let's put first an LFO, free LFO. We put the free LFO on the high pass filter. Watch this. It's on poly mode. Let's make it free run. Tempo sync the LFO. I need to put on the high pass filter, of course. Bit of resonance. Okay, but this is okay. But now I shut it down here in the modulation matrix and I pick the velocity to control the amount. So when I play soft, this high pass filter LFO will not be active, and that's what they call mod matrix amount. So the velocity controls the modulation amount from this first setting. I put it open, let's say 100%. And when I hit hard, so if I play soft, you don't hear this high pass filter, but when I hit a harder note, and then suddenly you hear that the high pass filter kicks in. Another thing I could do is using the velocity, and use the velocity also for the FX, for the delay feedback, increasing delay feedback. So let's see. That's very long. That's maybe a bit too long. So that's, you see, that's already very nice. So you can do much more. And I mean, the cool thing is, it's all about, using the features. Save preset as trance 2. I call this trance 2. I could go a bit more fuzzy. And then it gets swirly. Unison and spread left, right. Yeah, you can go totally wild by using the phaser. Cool, isn't it, what you can do with features? and I did not use the modulation wheel. I can use that one also for the opening the filter. So I saved this one, trans number 3, file save as. So we have 3 presets because you guys derailed me. Cool, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, the phaser, yeah. What I do with the phaser is often put it fully to the right, because if you have it in the middle, you can very often get these huge peaks of volume. So with the phaser and phaser, I tend to have it fully wet. Yeah, it saved Winston, and I will upload also these presets. Okay, let's see the chat room. Okay, well, let's go to this bank. If you have in the meantime an idea, or maybe you think so, we have 3 presets here. I should recall this one, rename number 1. By the way, the time of arrival of Blade2 is planned for September. So we have pretty work to do still. And mainly it will be the graphic design, the final graphic design. The top part will be the same as Go2. So with this height and the manager, preset manager will be there. And it's a very, Blade originally was a pretty experimental synthesizer. The first one we created was this XY pad, which you could record. But it's also a synthesizer which, at one side, fantastic, very special sounds. And sometimes you run into nothing, because it's due to the nature of this machine that it's harder to control. Okay. Well, let's go to this brilliant new sound bank. The only thing I did change in the sound bank was a bit of the volumes. So here it is, 88 sounds. The first one is an ARP, and then you see some very dark basses. So this is the ARP sound. Low bass. Some very nice low basses. Okay, then let's go here to some nice cool effect sounds. Ooh, this one reminds me on Predator. And I don't mean Predator or instruments, but Predator with Arnold. Oops. Yeah, you think that you could agree with that one, isn't it? Okay, let me see. Something went wrong here. So, I mean this guy. Yeah, there's a lot of delay between you and see it. Yeah. Definitely alien. Yeah. This is also a cool one. This reminds me, when I wake up, I get all kind of ideas popping up in my head. And so this is how my brain sounds in the morning. It's a nice rattle sound. Yeah, there are some organs. Good organ sound. You can use the modulation wheel. Nice, isn't it? And this uses the unison mode, which plays a chord. Then we have pad sounds. Sounds also a bit like a reverse sound. Okay, so I did mark some of them with the favorite. And you see, he uses also the Arp3 mode to control the filter frequency. The Arpeggiator is off, but it's in modulation source mode, which means that you can use it as a modulator, just like an LFO. Okay, this one also was a nice glass. Like little glasses ticking in this one. Then we have this one. Pad in the Cave. I think this one is developed with the, and this one is a nice one. It's Midnight on Mars. Okay, I'm just playing a few of them. So really moving sounds, and then you get a lot of cool sequences. They are and you see in this sequence, the first step uses chord 3 octave, which is then a different setting. The set step on 4 is the setting which is selected here, so which means 2 octaves unison. Which is essentially not really unison, but it stacks 2 octaves. And if its step is set, it means that it uses switches up here. But you see on the 7th step, he has a 5th as a unison mode. So that's cool in the sequence. Play now a few of the Arpeggiator sequence sounds. hear the multiple chords. Of course, it doesn't change the chords according to your song. It's more like a groove machine. And this one indeed has a heavy delay. Okay, let's see which I pointed out. Okay, sorry, I'm a bit sloppy. Screwdriver 1, that's a very nice one. So it uses really a lot this feature, which really makes, which you don't find in other products, which is really unique for Go2, that on each step you can have a different chord. The basic thing here is unison 4. You see a bit of detuning and spread, but then on step 3 and 4 it uses this setting, which you see in the upper right corner, but the other steps very often have a different setting. This one goes very deep. So it's almost like having this is already sound for a tune for a new thing or an item on TV. And then you get the next item. So some very interesting, cool presets in this bank. 88 sounds by San Project. Okay, let's play another one. Sequence Take Off. This one has a different rhythm. 2/3 speed. So we had a 6/8 or so, I think. Yes, this is a 6/8 beat. But I could be wrong. And that's cool, of course. You can change here the speed. 2/3. Second one is also so. I even put a waltz inside of it. First walk. It's like a polyphonic sequence type of thing. This using he's really using a lot of these features from Go2. Some people might think, what is this host sync? Well, normally you use host sync if the sequence is normally on bars, but if you have a free composing thing and you like to add the an arpeggiator sound, and maybe start on a note which is totally in between something, you can put it off, and then you have really on the timing it starts, and not depending on the setting on your music host. That's why it's an on-off feature. So this is off. It's more for if you have a free piece and you put on that one a arpeggiator on a certain tempo. But that's yeah. Midi latching is of course the sustain pedal. Keeps on playing. Yeah, key entry I did describe, of course. And then we have command, which helps to clear some things, reset, free reset chord. So I can reset chord and now it's totally set from. So that kind of features are on board under the commands. Okay, so under last, he has a waltz. A big bass. Lovely bank. So, yeah, again, we're going to make this available. It's already downloadable. Copy this bank. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. Give me 1 second. I see also a question. Here is C. Go2. I'm blinded by the screen. So if you go to the Go2 folder, it's in documents on your PC, but on the Apple it's applications or Papen Go2 bank folder, and you unzip and you unzip it in this area. So here it would then land as 20 Sangunia. Okay, project. Oh, it's amazing how I can butcher things. I will also upload it and then with Anchor as presets to the early bank folder presets. This is on the homepage. And of course, in the next update, you will have it again. We will override the presets then and with the tagging. I had no time today to check it. It was so busy that it took me 3 weeks to check out this bank from Heinrich. And I'm very happy. And of course, I'm sure you're going to be happy with this very cool new bank for Go2. So, and then in the meantime, yeah, we did explain a few things. We explained how this velocity key, which also applies to our other products. So if you saw this now in the live stream, you know, hey, I can do the same in the other Papen products. Yeah, Pavel is asking, is it possible to assign the XY pad to MIDI controls? Yeah, sure. You go over here, right mouse or control, click on your Mac, and then you see here, and then you can see the latch, currently latched to controller 14 and 15. So you can set controller, you can type it in, or set XYX. And I set it to 14. Voila. And now, of course, it's moving. So you need to be in live mode. So let's now back to live mode. And then you can see it changes. I have the first one here for the X and the second one for the I. So sure, even if you don't have an XY patch, you still can use 2 dials and do some cool stuff. So what I could do, let me see. I go back to the presets. Doesn't have anything. Okay. I can say the X does the filter frequency. I could put on the high pass filter here, and that's I could do on the Y, which is the default setting. Also can pick something else, but I picked the high pass filter. And you can use it, but it should be in live mode. So if you MIDI latch, it should be in live mode. There's one way where you can clear everything, which is MIDI latch. And if you have this nice layout maybe done, you can save it here, save setup. Or you can say clear MIDI, then it clears all the controllers. Sometimes we have people in support saying their synthesizers are doing weird things, and then for some reason it got Midi latch for one particular parameter, and then if you use clear Midi, it makes it clear again. So and also the other products. So in Powerwall, also in Sublime Bass 2, Blade2, or Blue2, you can Midi latch the XY. Okay, guys. An hour flight over. Sorry for the audio problems. I'm gonna edit this out of the video. I will upload the presets, which I did now with the trancey stuff, you know. These three with the velocity setting, velocity trance 1, 2, and 3. I also will upload as a zip file. And these you can throw in a bank you like. What you like to use yourself or a particular bank, because yeah, you always can have here in the manager, you can say and create here a new bank. You could say new, and you could say here Rob sessions, for instance, and then you have here a bank inside of this system here, which is called Rob sessions, somewhere down here. Here it is. Of course, I didn't put a number to it, but then in that one, you can put these presets, up to you. So in the bank manager, you can arrange that. Of course, I'm going to delete this one. Okay, I'm checking for the chat room again. Okay, pronounce Sanguini. Oh, okay, Sanguini. Yeah, that's something I will try to recall that for the next time. Sanguini. Okay. Yeah, I saw this email for adding 8 more slots in BIT. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. And what we can do this inside the update for BIT. Once we add this ratcheting thing, we also could increase the amount of modulation slots. Okay, guys, thank you again for watching. If you have an idea for next week, for another live stream, an idea what we should discuss, of course, it's also fun when you derail me and simply inside the chat room ask a question. No problem at all. I would say thank you for watching. Sanguini, thanks for the lovely bank, and everybody will enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Stay safe.